Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and there seemingly was some breaking news dropping last night. So many of you guys have been forwarding me this story. Johnny Depp verdict has been thrown into chaos as wrong juror seated in Virginia trial. Amber says she wants a new trial. I want to break this down. I'm so glad because we got Christopher Melcher here. How are you doing, sir?
Great, Andy. How are you doing?
Not so great because I know the actual story here. And guys, take a deep breath. It's not what you think. The media is trying to trick us again, and we are about to call them out, and we're about to bring you the justice. Before I get there, though, I do need to do one thing, which is to thank our sponsor, Sheath Underwear. I owe them one, and they have come back numerous times. And if you like our coverage here, I love when you guys support our sponsors, which you guys have been doing tenfold with Sheath. Sheath is my favorite underwear. I'm not just saying this. I know it seems weird that I'm plugging underwear on a show, but my God, these guys have stepped up. When you get a pair of Sheath underwear, it is so comfy, it is so soft, and yes, it's got this dual pouch. I know, I thought it was weird too, but my God, I've been wearing it ever since they sponsored me from day one. This will keep you cool in the summer, guys. I'm telling you, it has a pouch for both parts. It separates them, which prevents, sticking, if you catch my drift. So make sure you keep your parts where they need to be and try a pair of Sheath with the dual pouches. I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this because they're sponsoring me. I wouldn't keep sponsoring them if I didn't love it. I love these. And a lot of the ladies love them too. They got a lot of, I know we got a lot of ladies watching. You can pick up products for men, for women, pick them up for your man, pick them up for yourself. They got bralettes, they got boy shorts, they got so much stuff that I hope you guys will check out. And if you use, it's right down the bottom, use code POPCORN, you'll get 20% off your order. So thank you so much, Sheath, for stepping up, and not just for stepping up to support, but supporting the truth in reporting. There's so many people that are covering things up. Sheath loves what we're doing. They love you guys, and I love them, so I'm happy to connect them to you. And I hope you guys, if you haven't already tried it, you will, or you'll get another pair because you're like, you know what? I did try that, and I loved it. All right, now speaking of the truth, I want to get to this story because I know so many of you guys are worried about this. Christopher, I'm so glad you're here to break this down because, yeah, as the headlines are showing, it's not just Deadline. Guys, Deadline is in Amber's pocket. It's so clear. They've been against Johnny for so long. They are Team Amber. They've always been Team Amber. TMZ, same thing. This has been all over the media since last night. People saying there's going to be a mistrial, TMZ. If you search through the headlines of this, it's very clear Team Amber is pumping this out hard. It's all over. Even AOL has just come back to life to report about this, Christopher. Now, should people be worried? Can we set up what's actually happening here? We have the document. Christopher, explain what we're looking at. What's happening here?
Well, we're looking at is a leaked document. As you can see, there's a watermark on this filed document by Deadline. If you go to the Fairfax County Court website, there's a drop down for high profile cases, and you pull up this case. It's a great site, a great service. All of the filings are there for free, not this one, because it takes time after it's filed for it to be uploaded to the public court system's site. So how did Deadline get a filed document before it's available to the public? Well, it was leaked. And then who leaked it? Well, you can look at the headline, verdict thrown into chaos by this filing. If you read this filing, it adds nothing. Really, I mean, there's one fact, which is kind of interesting that we'll talk about, but it doesn't add anything to the thing that Amber's attorneys filed a week ago, the big 40-page motion for new trial or motion for dismissal. And it actually misstates some things now that we're going to talk about in this new filing. So for Deadline to lead with, everything's in chaos because of some document that was filed that none of us could see at the moment.
That we got exclusively, right?
Yeah. So it's a leak. It's a stunt to try and draw attention. People are confused and thinking, oh wow, we have an imposter juror. Somebody fraudulently got on this jury to try to go against Amber Heard. I mean, it's so ridiculous. So nothing to worry about, I think, is the upshot, but we can definitely break this down.
Okay, so nothing to worry about here. This, again, as I saw it, I was worried. The headline worried me, I'll be honest. I reached out to you. I reached out to a few people to get insight to make sure we could report this properly this morning. But yeah, the more I've looked into it, it's clear this is a press release trick. They sort of alluded to this in the last document, but let's break down this new document, this new motion rather. So as they go through it, which is just weird, they've blacked out the juror's name. It's so strange too, because didn't they file a whole motion to protect the jury's identity, and now Elaine's like immediately throwing out potential jury identity? Like, isn't this a risk to be putting out motions with?
That's why it's redacted, because and this is probably why it's taken maybe a bit to get on the court site, but the juror information is blacked out there, so none of us can see that by court order she can't reveal that. So all the references in here are to juror number 15.
But still, I would think even leaking this document to Dateline, which it seems clear Elaine did, with jury information, potentially, if you do that improperly, it just throws the whole system out of whack. It just seems risky to me to like start talking about this individual named with a listed at the birth, residing at blah, 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 with date of birth, like, boom, it's just exposing all of this, a lot of redaction, 52-year-old, like there's just a lot of detail about this juror. But okay, so explain what is Elaine's argument here?
So what she's saying, and the new fact that wasn't in the prior filing, is that a summons was sent to a household for an individual to come to Fairfax County Court, probably a month or two, in advance, as we get these in the U.S., to report to jury service. Well, it turns out in that household, there's two individuals with the same name. One was born in 1945 and the other was born in 1970. And apparently the younger person, maybe the son, thought it was for him, and he dutifully reported for jury service thinking it was for him and not his father. And so he reports, and even if they would have checked his ID, the name would be the same, but the birth date would be off, obviously. And so this guy ended up getting on the jury. That's what we're being told. Obviously, we have nothing to confirm this other than through what Elaine's saying, and she's not a reliable person at this point in my mind because of misstatements that she said before. I hate to say that about an attorney, but I say that about her. She is not reliable in my mind, particularly because of this footnote we're going to get to. And so who knows, but that's what she's saying. She does attach, she says, the juror summons and juror ID. That's not here because that would reveal information. So presumably she has, presented enough information. But that's the story. That's the only new fact. And then she just basically rehashes this argument that she had made earlier in a new document that's leaked to Deadline that basically says the court should be very concerned about this conduct. Well, to me, it seems like an innocent mistake. As we've talked about before, when you get a jury summons in the U.S., it's way in advance. You don't know what trial you could possibly get on, or if you're going to be on any trial at all. There's no way they would know this is going to be the Depp Heard trial. And a lot of people don't like to go to jury service, and they try and find ways out of it. So the fact that this individual dutifully reported for jury service seems like, okay, this is a citizen who's trying to do his duty. And there's nothing nefarious about that. It's an honest mistake. And so she's trying to then basically say, got you. The whole thing goes out. And in a footnote here on the last page of this document, she says, like, hey, there is an obligation by the court to ensure that these jurors are correctly identified, that you actually have to check their ID, and there's a rule stated there. And yes, that rule says that. And if you knew nothing more about Virginia law, you would think, oh, wow, this is a great motion. The clerk or the court had to check the jury ID. Had they checked the ID, they would have seen the wrong birth date. They would have seen this guy wasn't the right dude. They would have said, go home, bring your dad back. Dad would have went on the jury. And of course, what? Dad would have been pro-Amber. This is their whole line of reasoning, right?
It's true.
And if you knew nothing more about Virginia law, you would...
jurors should have sided. How do they know this, Christopher? One juror who sided with Depp should have never been on the panel that TMZ's reporting. How do you know that just because one's younger and one's older?
I exactly.
So they had this in there saying that they checked age, but then this is where Elaine's sneakiness really comes to play.
This is where she's lying, okay? So if you look at that footnote, you would think, wow, Virginia law says it's the judge's duty to check the ID, or the clerk's duty on the judge's behalf. Okay, fine. But I know about Virginia law, not because I'm a Virginia lawyer, I'm a California lawyer. The reason why I know a little bit about Virginia law is because in the filing that Elaine did a week earlier, she cited this rule that says that it's the obligation of counsel to object. And that if you do not object, that you cannot set aside the verdict or get a new trial. Now, so she had cited, the reason why we know about this rule is because Elaine a week ago cited it in another footnote, and then now in this new filing decides, I don't like that rule anymore, so I'm not going to cite it. And I'm going to cite the one that says that the clerk has to do it. So when you put all this together, one, you conclude Elaine's not honest, or being honest in this respect, I should say. And number two, that yes, it's the clerk's duty to check the ID, but it's counsel's obligation to object. And Elaine would say, well, how am I supposed to object? How would I know about this stuff? She does know about it because in the earlier filing, she admitted that counsel for both sides was given a list of the names of the prospective jurors and their birth dates. And so she's looking at juror number 15. Here's your name. You're born in 1945.
You look a lot younger.
Yeah. So she's on notice. Common sense would have said like, hey, whoa, if I have a problem with this, I need to object to it. That's what this rule 8.01-352B says. You got to object, Elaine. Didn't object. If you didn't catch it, you know what? Too bad. Doesn't get set aside. She does not like this rule, so she's like, no. I'm not going to pretend. I'm going to pretend like it doesn't exist, and I'm going to say it was the clerk's fault. No dice, not going to work. She's just making herself look bad at this point. But she got the headline on a Friday afternoon. Everybody loses their mind. Oh my God, the juror is in chaos. We have an imposter, fraudulent juror. So, you know, maybe they achieved what they wanted to.
It's and the Friday afternoon is a total smart point too, because again, everyone's going away for the weekend. People are online a little less. They're a little more casual. This is a total PR stunt, and again, it just shows how sneaky her and the team are. And this is the evidence they want to overthrow the ruling, is to get their friendlies out there to just put this out. Oh yeah, there was something irregular and not correct. The jury's messed up. A juror who sided with Depp. They have no way to prove this. This is insane. This is, again, it feels like more defamation, just all lies. And this headline, which, again, I wanted to put with the question marks in mind, this is what they're putting out there. Chaos, wrong jury, mistrial, and all of it's nonsense. All of it's nonsense. So I'm so glad you were here to calm us down, to break it down. But if you see these headlines out there, and that's why I put the headline there in mind, so people are getting to it, but then we can tell you the truth. Start spreading the truth. Share this video if you can. Get it out there, because I don't want people freaking out over these things. But this media campaign is all they got left, Christopher, it feels like. As I'm scrolling through these headlines, sadly, it's working in little ways. That's really all that I feel like she can do at this point, is try her best to trick people into thinking, well, it wasn't fair. The UK verdict just shows this, and the juror was Team Johnny. Are you surprised to see these tactics, given that they lost?
No, because they work. It's hard because anyone listening to this video is probably pretty invested in this case. You've been following it. You may have watched every moment of the trial, or you watched a lot of coverage about it, and you read documents, and you understand the case. You probably also understand the UK case. You know this history. Most people, that's not true. They have heard about this, and they probably just think both people are, bad, and I can't believe they're suing each other. I'm sick of hearing the case. That's a lot of the mentality that I hear. And they haven't spent a moment looking at any of the trial testimony or any of the trial documents. It's those people who may be in the majority of folks.
Yep.
That they're trying to influence, because one little headline like that, and the other thing is a lot of people read headlines, they don't read articles. So you read the headline, imposter juror.
Improper juror service.
Yeah, fraudulent juror. Somebody came in, it's going to be thrown out. that sticks in their mind, and then that they go along with their life thinking like, oh yeah, this is, obviously a bad result because there was a fraudulent juror, and then people will post about that and kind of echo that. So that what works, and what's good about having a strong online community is that you can debunk that stuff. And if somebody does want to do the research, they can find this video or threads that say the truth.
Like Christopher Melcher's thread over on Twitter, which did break this down last night, and this is actually our older one. But yeah, lots of threads over there. Follow Christopher over on Twitter. And if you want to make sure you support our coverage, you got to support my sponsors, which, yes, again, Sheath underwear. It's the most amazing, most comfortable, amazing underwear that I've ever had. Get a pair for your man, or heck, get a pair for yourself, ladies. A lot of ladies wear the boxer briefs. I'm telling you, these are perfect because they're like just not too tight. Sometimes I hate those the tighty whities, but they're just not too loose like boxers. And the material, I'm telling you, it's so smooth. Air comes through, but I can't speak highly enough, and I want you to try a pair. So please use code POPCORN for 20% down below at sheathunderwear.com. That's sheathunderwear.com. Code POPCORN. Try a pair, 20% off, because they're helping us. I love when brands stick up for us because they want us to tell you guys the truth. And Sheath is my favorite sponsor right now because they keep coming back. They love what we're doing. You guys love them. And so I'm so grateful for sponsors like them. Yes, it seems silly, but I'm telling you, it works. I wouldn't be out here promoting this crazy looking pouch thing if I didn't use it myself and say, you know what, it's great. So gentlemen, try it. Ladies, get your own pair. Men, women, there's lots of styles over there. And thank you, Sheath Underwear, for coming back. Again, code POPCORN at checkout. And make sure you support my friend Christopher Melcher, like I said, over on Twitter. Christopher, thanks for always being here. I love your threads. It seems like you're having fun doing those. Any other final comments you want to add before we go?
No, I'll probably do an extra thread on this. I am wanting to look at other stories. I know this one, just doesn't go away, and there's a lot of interest in it, but I am also, trying to move forward and look at other stories too.
I love that. We are all trying, but you guys still want this, so we give it to you when something big happens like this. In fact, there's more information. We're going to be taping another one right now for drop tomorrow about Amber where's the money coming from? Where's the money going? Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the bell for all alerts. Smash the like button, leave a comment, and support the channel. Thank you guys so much, and don't forget, sheathunderwear.com. Use code POPCORN for 20%. It's a good deal, people. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, amazing audience. Go, go, planet!